Everybody, Carol here. Today I would like to share with my friends on YouTube some journaling that I've been doing today. And I wanted to demonstrate how I ask the universe, or what I call Cosmind, for advice. And yes, it's spiritual, but hey, it's also logical, and it draws on how the human brain works and how we can work with it, sometimes using our imagination in a shamanistic sense, to elicit knowledge and wisdom that we wouldn't ordinarily have access to. So I am an INFJ, so I'm very easily able to do these kind of things. But if you're not an INFJ, you can still benefit, I think, from using some of these techniques, because when you imagine things, it's been shown scientifically that the brain doesn't know the difference between imagining it and actually doing it. So therefore, if you're a sports person, you can imagine doing your jump or your Olympic activity over and over the day before, and you'll actually do better than if you hadn't thought about it at all. And it's equivalent to actually doing the practice, according to the test that I read the peer-reviewed paper on. So I think that's worth noting. And I think that if we imagine going back to our past, for example, and restructuring the past, and how would you feel if it was restructured differently, or if you observe the past with an imaginary angel behind you showing you that why you had to go through this and what benefit it is for you. You know, things like this can help you reprocess without drugs your past and, heal from it. And again, if you can say, well, I know I'm making these stories up in my mind, that the angel's there and all that, but if you can have that sort of childlike pretend about it, your brain, and get into the fantasy of it, even though you're consciously aware that you're imagining it. It's not like you're somehow, hiding from your brain that that it's real, but you have a childlike attitude and you pretend in your mind. You kind of say, well, what if it was like this? Just for fun, let's just pretend for a minute that it's like this. And then you can use your imagination to heal. So today I'm going to use my imagination to answer a question. So with my Aspie background, my INFJ nature in a Myers-Briggs sense, which means that I'm like an empath and I can pick up vibes of others, and I'm very, very sensitive. And then all of my bullying and my current PTSD state, which I'll probably always have, all of these things cause me to overreact to certain things. So I'll just give that as a background. And the things that keep happening to me just lately are that there's these three people kind of from my past that continually contact me, and I feel a lot of stress about it. All of them want something, and they need something, and they all make you feel guilty for not giving it. But these are the types of people that I had to walk away from. If you've ever studied narcissism, sometimes we just have to walk away from certain people because they continually drain you and don't give anything back. Now, of course, children do that by definition, and that's because you choose to have children, and of course they drain you because they grow in your body and all that. So that's nothing wrong with that. Of course, I'll give everything to my children, but other people don't really have that right to do that. And us INFJs are so easily lured into that because we're very easily made to feel guilty, and we believe we're horrible people just almost because we grew up in America. And if an INFJ grows up in America, in the last century, grew up then, you're probably going to have had parents that worked and you didn't get much attention, and all these things happen. Maybe you had, like me, like not a very nice childhood, with a lot of violence and whatever, like we all have our stuff, and so an INFJ finds that very, very difficult. The way I think about an INFJ is, this is sort of my pretend mind kicking in here, but it helps me understand and feel good about myself, is that I feel like I came from another star system, probably, like my soul, if that sort of thing exists. But like I say, I'm not saying I do, I'm saying I feel like, okay? So just imagine that I did, and I came here on Earth, and I find that people think differently than me. They have different morals, and I can't really figure them out. And like, even in movies when people do stuff, I'm like, the director was completely amateur here, because he made that person do something that I just can't even comprehend. And but really and truly, neurotypicals just think that's normal for a person to do like a bad thing, like a horrible thing. And I'm like, but that can't even be. It just doesn't seem real to me. So I can't really get drawn into any stories because of this. I'm not sure if that makes any sense. Of course, I can edit it out here. But so I'm sort of different, in that I don't really get bullying. And I've said this in all my other videos. But so as a result, people like me even have to protect themselves from narcissists and type people that are like narcissists more than the regular Joe Schmo, because we're kind of affected more. You could kind of think of it as big, strong humans don't really have to be that careful walking in the street at night, because not many people would attack them because they're big and strong, and tall, and and people would be afraid of that. Most attackers would go for the the little old lady with the red purse hobbling along, and they would take the red purse, because they know they can get away with it, right? Or they think they can. Don't do that to me. But, so, back to my insight. So before I asked the question, what happened is these three people are all asking me to do stuff, and 2 requests just came in the same day. And I don't check my emails every single day, maybe every other day. And so, I guess they back up. And then over the weekend I might not check them at all. Not every weekend, but just, here and there I might skip a few days, because I'm involved in some art project. So they're kind of like, they all have this impatience about them, like, why didn't you do this? Or why didn't you watch that video? Or why? And hints about how I should do certain things. Okay, so whatever, I'm going to delay their response, and I know that's going to make everybody simmer and get even more mad, because I'm going to delay my response. But I need to delay the response because I never want to reply when I'm either stressed or angry, because then it's not a good communication, and that's what we all need to learn. I'm practicing it, but I wish everyone else would. So I have to, pause and do some work before I can respond to these people, because otherwise I'll just be all defensive, and then I'll get all worked up. And I don't want that to happen. So these psychopathic and or narcissistic people are unaware of their harmful actions. When I wrote this down, I heard Jesus' voice saying it. Then I decided, I'm getting some messages. Why not go all the way here? I'm just going to ask the cause mind and my 2 spirit guides for a wise perspective on this. And then I started making a table, and I thought, well, okay, I have 2 spirit guides that are sort of ancestral, my grandmother and grandfather, and their names are Mimo and Mooncrow. And then Jesus and Eckhart Tolle are kind of my main teachers. Eckhart Tolle brings in the teachings of Jesus in a way that I never thought about it, and kind of renewed that my interest in the teachings of Jesus. Now, it's just too bad that Jesus isn't here now and he lived so long ago. So I look for current teachers, and I really like Eckhart Tolle and other teachers out there. But so anyway, I just happened to pick those 2, Jesus and Eckhart Tolle, and then Alan Watts kind of popped in unexpectedly. So I'm going to act out my what I did with my thoughts with puppets. I thought that'd be kind of fun, since I love puppets, and I thought that oh boy, the little girl in me is, oh boy, if I get to do puppets, then I'll surely make the video, because it motivates me to make the video. So, and it gives me an excuse to play with my puppets. So, we're going to start the video with the first thing that, after I asked the question, the first voice that came to me was from Eckhart Tolle. And here's what he said. You must get in the present moment. Thank you, Eckhart. I hear you. He's breathing. So then next I thought about breathing and got really, really quiet. And looked out the window right now, just so you know, I'm looking at it. Just pure trees and a little bit of sky at the top. Really pretty. And it's rainy today. A little bit rainy, but it's not raining now. And I looked out and... First of all... Oh, hi! Hi, Mooncrow. Spirit of my grandfather.
Well, whatever. I just wanted to tell you, Carol, I heard a question in the ether.
You did?
Yep, and it was you, and I heard you ask.
I'm embarrassed, but okay.
I'm here to help. So, first of all, my answer goes something like this.
Okay, I'm listening.
You gotta take a little bit of spiritual medicine. That'll get the process started.
Okay. Well, what should I do with this spiritual medicine?
It's the sacred plant, You got to take just a little tiny microdose, just a little bit. Too much, you fall asleep. Not good. Not enough is not taking it. You feel anxious, right?
Yes, that's why I asked the Cosmine to help me.
Though you'll know. So, that's what you gotta do. Go get your sacred plant.
Okay, so I got my Tulsi tea and I made some tea.
You mean you're gonna do it?
No, I'm telling them in past tense.
Whatever. Let us go back to the branch and meditate.
Okay, so that was the Mooncrow, and he gave me very good advice. I couldn't quite get the voice right. Please forgive me. So that was the Mooncrow, and then I decided to drink the Tulsi tea and sit by the window and look outside. And then I emptied my mind easily, because the Tulsi tea lowers the cortisol and helped me gain my senses back and kind of get calm again and empty my mind. And I was just listening to the rain, listening to the rain. And then my other spirit guide, who's my grandmother, my ancestor.
Hello, Carol. You look mighty fine today.
Oh, hi there, grandmother. Grandmother spirit of the forest.
You need to call me Grandma.
Okay, Grandma. Are you here to do your normal poetic thing that you always do that makes me relaxed?
I certainly am. Breathe with me, little girl.
Okay.
Empty mind. My muscles relax. Happy to only hear rain. Answers come to me. Good fortune.
I liked that. It almost sounded like haiku.
It was my own special blend of haiku. 3, 5, 7, 5, 3.
Are those the prime numbers?
I think so, yes.
And you didn't feel like 2 or 1 were necessary?
No, they don't have the status,
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, the trilogy. That's where it all started.
Yes, and then 5, well, that's such a special number. I don't have 5 fingers, but you do.
Okay.
And then there's 7, this nirvana number, then back to 5, and back to 3. Big crunch,
Yes. You're talking about physics now, so I guess that would be the last I heard of you at the time I did the exercise.
Yes, at that point I sort of drifted away into the ether, like I'm gonna do now.
Okay. Yes, that was my grandmother. Now, at this point, I was thinking and trying to let the answers come, and I heard someone's voice in my head. Who was that? Why, it was the famous Alan Watts. But we're going to play Alan Watts with my puppet, who I've named, let me get the mouth right. My name is Alan Katz. I don't have a voice yet for Alan Katz, but he's supposed to be Alan Watts, right? I haven't mastered the ability to channel his voice yet. I can only do like 3 voices. Alan Katz is one of them. But I'm going to use the voice to describe what Alan Katz said to me, and I'm also going to read it. I hope you don't mind, but for the purposes of making this video.
You are too lazy to not read it.
Okay, well, you're right about that.
If you can learn to communicate with animals, you are worthy to communicate with ETs.
Well, hi, Alan Watts. What are you saying this for? What does this have to do with anything?
If a man can communicate with a woman, or vice versa, if you can communicate with a human of different sexual features, different moral expectations, and different thought processes, then you may be capable of communicating with other animals altogether.
Oh, I see.
In fact, some quite rigid humans who get along with practically no one
I hope you're not implying I'm one of those.
can communicate quite well with dogs, cats, birds, horses, even crows, wink wink, and skunks I've heard.
Okay, I guess you are implying I'm one of these people. Well, I think I get along with humans pretty well, unless they're narcissistic people or psychopathic.
Well, we are not judging, You may be one of those in another life.
You're right about that. I guess we can't really control who we become.
But you can work with what you got. You're doing a pretty good job. Speaking for myself, I get along well with my cat.
Oh, you have a cat? You are a cat.
Well, I see, yes. That is a problem. Well, I can understand almost every emotion. But we have our arguments.
You mean you have a pet cat?
I did. But when anger arises, we do time out.
Why do you do timeout?
Though avoiding communication while you're angry is the first thing you must learn with any interspecies communication.
Does that include men and women too?
Oh yes, they are like different species, I must say,
And Aspies and neurotypicals?
Different species, yeah.
Okay. How about INFJs and ENTJs?
Different species.
Okay, you are really good on a roll here.
Well, humans would do well to learn this. Do not communicate when you are angry or upset. You will be gentler with each other,
Yes. I admit I get angry.
Yes, me too. But I refuse to remain angry,
Really?
Oh, yes, it is just too valueless to waste such energy,
I agree.
But now I am diverging. Let's all just laugh.
Okay, Alan Watts. Well, thank you for visiting us. So back to the problem then. Kind of in a daze here, looking out at the trees, and Alan Watts is talking to me through my head, and so I just kind of veg out again, go back to the trees, back to my breathing. Oh, yes. I'm asking the Cosmind to help me with my problem. What is my problem again? Oh, yeah, emails from pushy people, full of what seems to me clear as day, angry undertones, and discomfort are in the emails. And they want to manipulate me. Those energy suckers. So what should I do, Cosmind? What should I do? I sensed the presence of Jesus. He's walking into the room and telling me,
Forgive them, cattle, for they know not what they do.
oh, Jesus, I do remember you saying that. It is hard to imagine not forgiving. It's just so very hard.
Well, they are little lambs, They too are stuck in this wild tornado. They're beside you, flailing. They're flailing and they're scared. Oh, throw them a towel. Or at least a joint.
A joint?
Well, you'll know. I have fun,
I know.
To ease their pain, You're so much like Lily Tomlin, You should throw in something that will help.
How about if I throw them Tulsi tea? That's my drug of choice.
Well, that's a sacred herb. Yes, that should do. The intention is there. Also note, Carol, look at your notes while I say this.
Okay.
Carol, these psycho marks are unaware of their harmful effects on you. I'm pretty sure.
You're pretty sure?
I'm pretty sure, yes. And you too, Carol, you must, Carol.
What?
You are sometimes unawarely hurting others too.
Really?
By not answering their emails,
Oh, you were right about that.
Try to be aware of other people's needs. Tell them you will get back to them after you process their anger.
Oh, I don't think I want to say that.
No, I was just kidding,
Well, Jesus, thank you for telling me all these things.
Well, I am not Jesus. I am Blondie, just playing the part.
Okay, thanks, Blondie. You did a good job. Not anyone who could act the part of Blondie. Jesus. Okay, so I haven't heard from Eckhart Tolle except for that one little thing you said at the beginning. Did you want to say anything else, Eckhart Tolle? Eckhart? Did you have any more advice? I see you're just continuing to meditate. Well, what I noticed from Eckhart Tolle's silent response was that he was sending me good vibes. So that's what I needed. Just that feeling of being loved and happy to be here. It's a good moment. There's nothing hurting me in the moment. And I'm just not going to reject this moment. I'm going to embrace it. Because it's a privilege to be alive. So what, these little things come up that push your emotional buttons. That's why we're here, to face those. So I kind of felt better about it, and now I know what to do. Now the messages began to appear at this point, and I wrote them down, so I'm just going to read them. You firstly must honor your best life, which is equivalent to your life purpose. You successfully brought in the two souls you agreed to bring into the world. You raised them adequately. Next, you have been given a graduate student-worthy stipend to be both professor and student, and with the help of your puppets and your spiritual guides, you are able to write the necessary thesis on etheric flux and the unification of the physical forces, and to help future neurodiverse individuals acclimate to Earth lovingly and symbiotically. Do not forget to take back the address you gave to so-and-so. And that was my advice, because it was kind of like that was the one thing that was bothering me. So I know that sounds weird, but I made a mistake and I gave my address to a certain person. But now I feel vulnerable, so I shouldn't have done that. But it's too late now. But anyway, at least I got clear about what it was that was causing me distress. And also, the main thing is from the teachings of Jesus.
Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do.
You know, that is like so true with all of us. Me, you, them, those people, this, all of us. We know not what we do. You know, we're all just flailing with fear in the tornado of life, you know, trying our best to, even the narcissists and psychopaths, you know, they're just trying to play that game, you know, get ahead. And so, yeah. I'm feeling kind of chill about it all. Well, I guess that's the end of this video. I'm done sharing my silly ideas, and I never know if I'm going to post these videos or not. Every once in a while I'll post a video, and then I'll take it down after I see it, like a day later, and then a couple more days later I'll put it back up. So funny. But some of them I do keep off. I keep them as private videos or just delete them altogether because they're so silly. Peace.